All right, here we go at 9:14 in the heart of the Riverbend on this, beautiful Wednesday in downtown Alton. We got the mayor of Godfrey, Mike McCormick, on. Sir, thank you for taking the time out today. I know things have been busy with the Roundabout project, and just want to thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, CJ. I'm happy to be here.
And I know it's been a busy couple of weeks for you guys, and I know that there's been a lot of calls into Village Hall. Just to kind of start off with any updates that you have on the project, and just kind of let you overview this to set the table for us.
Okay, I'd be glad to do that, CJ. I think there's a letter floating around that was sent from the Village of Godfrey, signed by me, from 2010, after IDOT had come and made a presentation to the board, a couple different options, and the board of trustees all decided that it seemed like at that time that the roundabout was the best solution. After doing studies about the roundabouts, comprehensive studies show that roundabouts are safe. Mm-hmm. Roundabouts are especially environmentally friendly. Roundabouts are accessible and improving the flow of traffic. The Village of Godfrey and IDOT is expecting traffic to be larger at that intersection as time moves on, especially when the completion of Lars Hoffman happens.
Okay. And was that? Sorry, sir.
Go ahead. Ask your question.
Was that something that has always been in the last couple of years? Just the anticipation of that build being completed with Lars Hoffman, has that been something that you've been taking into consideration too, along with IDOT? Has that been kind of priority too, to see how that would affect traffic flow?
Exactly. Back when I first became mayor, within the first few years, we started the stub part of the Lars Hoffman crossing. I think it was Sarah Johns, one of our trustees, that came up with the name of that road. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be completed out to Pierce, and the Village of Godfrey slowly but surely is going to be improving Pierce to make a connector from here by Village Hall 255 straight over to Delmar.
Oh, right. And to me, that's going to really alleviate some of the congestion, don't you think?
Or create more.
Right. That too. That's a good point.
And about the naysayers are saying that that's a lot of money. It's not Village of Godfrey money. It's the state of Illinois money. And if they don't spend it in the Village of Godfrey, I guarantee you they'll be spending it in Chicago, Cook County somewhere, some other community, because they budget so much. And
right,
probably a lot of people don't remember back in 2012, IDOT was wanting to put a project in Godfrey. It was going to connect Martin Luther King, going east of Alton Square Mall, connecting to Tolley. And through our board and it was shut down basically, which came to a lot of people's displeasure. And here we got IDOT coming to our community again 10 years later with another project that they are willing to do, wanting to do in our community, and they're getting all this pushback. And from the Village of Godfrey's perspective, it's not good to turn down two projects with that short period of time, and which begs me to ask the question that since this letter's floating around from 2010, where were these naysayers in the first public meeting in 2014, the next public meeting in 2016, and the last public meeting before the one last Monday night in 2018? And I was shocked when I went to the meeting this past Monday night about total shutdown of that intersection. And because every plan I'd seen prior to that, there was a plan to keep the traffic flowing while the construction was going on.
Well,
so immediately,
Well, you just made a good point. I want to hit on that because I think so many times people have just assumed in the last week or so that there hasn't been any previous discussion on this. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing, and it seems to me that the ones that have been very vocal about this that are against it, could have taken every opportunity in years past. Were some of those people that were against this publicly, you don't have to say names, but were they present in some of those meetings? Do you have any attendance records on those? Because you're right. I mean, that's a huge point to be had, that nobody has made really a big stink about this until 2 weeks ago.
I don't have those attendance because they were IDOT and sponsored meetings, and they
Right.
put out their typical dog and pony show with all their boards and having different people at different stations. And in fact, when I walked into that meeting last Monday night, there was very few IDOT people that I've ever met before there.
Wow.
And but we listened to the people, and we went back to IDOT with the help of Amy Elick. We got together with them Tuesday morning after that Monday meeting, and got back together with them this past Monday. And IDOT stepping back. They still want to continue to do the roundabouts, which I'm good with, but they're going to find a way to keep that traffic flowing through that intersection. And hopefully they come up with a plan that'll make people happy. And everybody wants to give Village of Godfrey, myself particularly, credit for the roundabouts, but this is an IDOT project.
Right, and so again, a great point you made earlier is that there was a lot of argument that this was going to be falling on basically our expense. We're going into our own, the Godfrey kitty for this. But you're right. I mean, I think the point is being made. If we're going to have the chance to have some investment into our community, if we don't utilize it, it could go. And you hit on something. I wanted to ask you to circle back to that point. You said it's bad to have to drop two projects or to kind of be apprehensive to two projects coming in from IDOT. If we could break that down a little bit more, is it just because the more we say no, the less that they're willing to pitch us something? Because what's the point in putting any effort in if we're going to get pushback? Is that kind of the argument or the correlation?
I think that's the main argument.
Okay. Also,
exactly the way you said it.
Exactly
the way you said it.
And that's kind of, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I know that's kind of what I was picking up with this, but I know a lot of the concern was in regards to construction. We had 8,000 numbers, it seemed like, getting thrown out the last week on when that could have been completed at the time. Was the 4-year or a couple of years that's been floating, was that always on the table and we're going to have to shut this down? And was there any consideration with the schools and the nursing homes that are on that route?
Anytime anybody, municipality or the Illinois Department of Transportation, they cross those T's, they dot those I's. This project isn't that far along, but they do look into that. And on the conversation I had with the IDOT officials on this past Monday morning, it was brought up they were concerned about the rumor floating around about how evangelical school will only have one entrance, which is not true. I mean, I don't know where that came from, and the IDOT representative said, I'm going to personally reach out to evangelical school and assure them that will never ever happen. And the bottom line here, CJ, is where has everybody been for the last 10 or 12 years that this has been in the works?
And I'll be honest, that was the argument that, I make because I'm indifferent to this. I do live on that road, but to me, I'd stay out of, business when I don't know something, it's best for me to shut up, Mayor. And when I heard all this going on, I thought, well, it seems to me there were opportunities for a lot of conversations to be had that people didn't take those chances and didn't take those moments to speak up. Wanted to circle back because I know you just had that meeting. So as of this point, is IDOT prepared, in your estimation, to still do the roundabout? And if so, is it going to be something that's going to have some public, is it going to be a vote? Is it just going to be some roundtable meetings with concerned citizens, business owners going forward, or how is that going to look?
from what I understand from that meeting, IDOT is planning on moving forward with the roundabouts, keeping access open at all times for school buses, first responders, and all, and have public meetings like they always have, which they've had 4 on this issue already, but they will have public meetings to get the feedback and the pushback. But the money has been set aside to spend on these roundabouts in the village of Godfrey, and I'm in favor of them. I think our board is in favor of them. I don't want to put words in people's mouth, but look, just in 2020, our board voted unanimously to do the landscaping in these roundabouts. That's not that long ago, and the conversation held at the last meeting, it appeared that most trustees are in favor of it, but most trustees wanted to see a change in totally shutting down the road. Nobody wants the road totally shut down, and
Gotcha.
I honestly believe that's not going to happen. The road will not be shut down.
Great, because that's my next question, and you segued it perfect because I did see some of the comments made by the trustees. Was the road being completely shut down your biggest concern too, or is that just the consensus of the board?
No, that was my biggest concern, and like I said earlier in this interview with you, CJ, for the last 12 years in these meetings, there was never a conversation on a total shutdown, and I was as taken back as everybody at that meeting that past Monday night that was being reviewed, and
Gotcha.
and I think different information was given out by different places. And another concern that was brought up that night, the village of Godfrey doesn't want everybody cutting through the Adrian subdivision because, that tear up their roads besides creating safety problems probably, and just creating more issues for the village of Godfrey as far as road repairs and expenses with the village as far as keeping those roads up, which we've been on a very, very progressive road construction. The last 2 summers we've done over 50 roads that we've milled and overlaid, and we're anticipating doing that many again this coming year. And our position is to try to get the streets that are maintained by the village of Godfrey that are being oil and chip. Eventually, all of those roads will be asphalted, and that's what we've been doing for the last quite a few years. And our road crew does a wonderful job. But every time we do a road, we always upset somebody. Somebody's got a doctor's appointment. You can't be, shutting down the road which we never shut down the road. Everybody's got access all the time, but you might have to wait 5 minutes sometimes.
Right.
As the asphalt truck drives by your driveway. But
well, and I'm not, but it's a great point because you're right. And it's something that I've said numerous times, you want to have these improvements, but it seems like the moment we get some of these improvements, there's always somebody going, but this doesn't right for me. Mayor, I got one last question for you. It actually came in through the text line. I normally don't read these, but I thought it was an interesting topic. And I wanted to see what your thoughts were on it, if you had any more insight. We had some text coming in about a vote. You don't typically vote on these projects, do you? I mean, in my experience, I don't see this being a ballot measure. If we wanted it, could it be a ballot measure if that was decided?
It never has been any kind of road project. Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to have every road project that's ever done in the village of Godfrey be voted on.
Right.
That would be so cumbersome, and
right.
And you touched on a point. I've voted on since I have been mayor. I've only voted maybe 3 or 4 times, and that was to break ties. And my job is to do what the board wants, but I'm not denying the fact that I think roundabouts are good for the future of Godfrey. You
Absolutely.
know, they mentioned the wrecks out there, 178. I think I don't do Facebook personally, but somebody shared it with me that somebody made the comment, well, that's only one and a half a month. That's one of to me, anything you could do to cut down on any wrecks is a positive move.
Absolutely. And Mayor Mike McCormick, thank you so much for your time. Anything else you'd like to get out before I let you go?
No, I think that's good, CJ.
Hey, I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much for calling in today at 9:30. We're going to take a quick break. IDOT is up next right after this in downtown Alton.